Hello and welcome back to this channel. So before the visa bulletin was published last week, we were looking at the new factors that now affect when you are supposed to receive your interview notification or when your diversity visa interview is supposed to be conducted. Remember, we said, for example, that when you submitted your DS-260 is one of those factors that now affect the scheduling of your interview. We also saw the new steps involved in the processing of diversity visa applications. And in addition to that, quite recently, we saw the embassy where you are supposed to be interviewed. Those are the three factors that we have covered so far. In today's video, we are going to consider the fourth and final factor that now affects the scheduling of diversity visa interviews. But before we go into that fourth and final new factor, let me remind you guys concerning my diversity visa services. For those of you who are not aware, I provide services to diversity visa applicants. Currently, the DV 2025 interviews are ongoing. It is true that they are not in their numbers as most applicants hope for reasons that I have already explained in previous videos. So in case you are one of those who have received your interview notification and you do not know how to go about preparing for your diversity visa interview, then take advantage of my diversity visa services. My services cover all aspects of the diversity visa program, including preparation for your diversity visa interview. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to include the link to my diversity visa platform just below this video. Click on that link, go to the platform and get in touch in case you are in need of some service relating to the diversity visa program. Having said that, now let's go over and consider our fourth and final new factor. Now, in the past, the establishment of the cutoff numbers on a monthly basis in the diversity visa program were more or less mathematical. They were based on a principle that I have already shared with you in a past video. Now, just around 3 years ago, that changed. And since then, the cutoff numbers in the diversity visa program don't always follow the principle in question. There are times that the principle is respected, but there are many other occasions when we are taken aback by what the cutoff numbers established for a certain month are. And when that happens, the scheduling of diversity visa interviews is generally affected. So this fourth factor, the factor in question is the decision of the visa office. There are different ways I refer to this factor. Sometimes I speak about the approach of the visa office, or there are other times that I talk about the actions on the part of the visa office. But whatever the terminology used is, the fact remains that decisions made by the visa office in today's diversity visa program that do not always go on par with the principle governing the movements in the cutoff numbers on a monthly basis is another factor that affects when you are supposed to receive your interview notification, when your diversity visa interview is supposed to be conducted. And we see that very regularly in the diversity visa program nowadays. Let's take the case of the DV 2024 program. Just a month to the announcement of the final cutoff numbers in that program, the Africa region was at 75,000. And from all indications and analysis, the Africa region only needed to increase to around 80,000 or at most 85,000 for the final month of that program. But strangely, the visa office decided to make the Africa region current, making cases with case numbers of more than 122,000 eligible for interview during the month of September. And as a result of that, cases with the highest case numbers from the Africa region that did not expect to be scheduled for interview in the DV 2024 program were scheduled for interview, though not all of them. When that happens, the case number principle, that is, priority being given to lower case numbers, is no longer respected. So in the case of the DV 2024 program, lower case numbers of around 80,000 that expected to be interviewed were not interviewed, whereas some applicants with the highest case numbers, as I said, more than 122,000, were scheduled for interview. And if we should consider your own program, DV 2025, I have said it before, the initial cutoff numbers for the DV 2025 program were established so high. So some cases that expected their interview to be conducted around the month of December or January, for example, ended up having their interviews during the month of October because of that high establishment of the first cutoff number for the DV 2025 program. So what the decision is concerning movement in the cutoff number in the diversity visa program has always been a factor that affects the scheduling of interviews. But since the retirement that I spoke about, the principle governing the movement in the cutoff numbers is no longer respected as it used to be. This is another new factor that now affects when you are supposed to receive your interview notification, when your diversity visa interview is supposed to be conducted. Now, with these new factors that we have covered, you can clearly see why in today's diversity visa program, the question, when will I receive my interview notification or when will my interview be conducted, can no longer be addressed as it used to be in the past. In upcoming videos, hopefully, we will consider the way that question can be addressed in today's diversity visa program, as well as the approach that you should have in the diversity visa program nowadays. So that is it. That is what I had to share with you in today's video, and that brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching it. See you, God willing, very soon in the next one. Until then, goodbye.